Insiders, happy Halloween week. We've got some really important stuff to go over in this week's video. But I need to start out, of course, with my weekly shout out. And this week my shout out is going to Claudia Majewski with the Legacy Group at Keller Williams. And my shout out to Claudia and her team is specifically around a file on Helena that we had an offer submitted back in May, and I know this isn't like a world record breaking length of time, but it is still a very lengthy process. In May we submitted the offer. We actually got a counter from the lender, a counter offer from the lender back to the buyer of just a few $1,000s that the buyer accepted in May as well. And obviously, in a buyer's perspective, when a counter offer is being presented, that means that closing should be close, or approval should at least be close around the corner. Well, I'm not going to go into all of the details because this particular short sale was thrown into loan modification, it had to get pulled out, it was improperly countered in a wrong phase of the process, and long story short, we didn't actually get our approval letter until last week. The shout out to Claudia and her team is they actually kept the buyer on board through this process, and it was a cash buyer nonetheless. Cash buyers tend to be the most flighty because they've got cash and they feel like if somebody's not going to give them a deal on a house, they're not going to be able to get closed, they're just going to move on to another one. So congratulations to Claudia and her team for keeping that buyer on board for that entire length of time, and now let's get this thing closed. So, okay. A couple things. I'm going to get into the core of what I want to talk about, which was in the email, and I'm sure you read the email if you're watching this video. But I want to say something first, and it's around your offers and your commissions. And so this is a very important piece that you need to take to heart, and you all should know this. It's in the documentation, the closing instructions, the alliance closing instructions, are very specifically spelled out. It was, we spent a lot of time on the Insider Network training on this particular piece to make sure you understood it. And it has to do with making sure that you don't get your commissions cut unnecessarily. And we're just seeing this happen too often for me to not bring it up. When you're in the same office as a cooperating agent, then you're going to have issues with the commission. The commission is going to get cut, and very regularly it gets cut down to 4% total commission. And if you as agents and your seller had agreed to pay 6 and you're expecting 6, to go from 6 to 4 is a pretty significant drop. So what I'm asking you to do is make sure that you either understand, if you send in an offer with Keller Williams, for example, on both the buying and the selling side of the transaction, please be aware we're going to do our best, but it is highly likely that you're going to get your commission cut. My recommendation is that one of the agents make a referral to another agent at a different office, and just to give a very small referral fee, even if it's $200 or $500, that you give to that agent, so that you have 2 agents in 2 different offices, so that we can put that on the HUD, and then that way you're not going to get your commission cut. That is a super effective technique, and I just need to stress it again because I do not like it when our agents get their commissions cut and when there's nothing that we can do about it. When an offer comes in that way and it's presented to the bank that way, and they cut the commissions for that specific reason, there's really not a lot that we can do about it. We always fight for you, but I'm asking you to help us help you and get you a full commission. So, okay, enough said about that. Let's talk about this whole practicing law situation. This is news flash, and if you're in the state of Washington, you've probably heard rumblings or even heard some specifics from the Washington Realtors Association. Basically, there's stuff going on around short sales where real estate agents are being accused of practicing law without a license, and obviously I don't want any of my agents to run into that situation. We ourselves don't ever want to be in that situation. And so on our conference call on November 4th, we're going to dive into it in depth. And we're actually making some changes internally at Alliance that will affect you as an agent that we work with. So if you're having us negotiate your short sales, then you absolutely need to be on that phone call because we're changing some processes, some requirements for you and your seller toward the end of the process that will guarantee that no one can accuse us or you of practicing law without a license, and that's a pretty important thing to not be accused of, because even if you're not practicing law without a license and someone sues you because they think you are, it's going to be a really unfortunate experience. So here's what I need you to know for now. Do not advise your seller around the short sale payoff letter. When the short sale payoff letter comes through, you need to not be the one that's giving them advice. You can give them the letter and let them know that if they have questions regarding the letter, that they need to speak to an attorney in order to help them interpret what the letter says and what the letter means to them individually. And I'm stressing that you're not the one that gives them the information. Now, if they don't have an attorney or they're not sure where to go between now and when we have our call where we're going to talk about some protocol changes, get in contact with me, go through the office and have them get a hold of me so I can get a phone call with you so that we can talk about what the best solution is for your seller. So that's the one key item. That's the most important piece that you need to know, is you do not want to be advising your seller in regard to the letter and how it affects them and how it's changed the terms or the legal obligations that they have in regard to their original note. So take that. Make sure that you're just very aware. I don't want everybody freaking out and thinking they can't do short sales, because unfortunately that's what the lemmings do, and that's what we saw a lot of at the Washington Realtor Association, is just everybody running around saying, oh, you can't do short sales, you can't do short sales, and that's not true. I had a phone conversation with Annie Fitzsimmons last week specifically to clarify some things. And so when an agent says realtors can't do short sales because they're practicing law, they're misinformed. They're taking rumors and they're blowing it up. So don't let people scare you, but just don't be stupid either. Make sure you're doing what needs to be done to protect yourself and your clients. So, all right, have a great week. Have a happy Halloween. Be safe, and I will talk to you next week. Don't forget, the 4th of November, so a week from this Wednesday, is our strategy call. Make sure you schedule it to be on that call, because there's going to be some really important stuff there. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.